Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to have a look at the NASDAQ, okay, NASDAQ 100 index, okay, and in this particular chart we're looking at a weekly chart here, and what we're looking at here is it's actually something extraordinary. If we look at the NASDAQ, the highs of 2007, we've actually beat that now, moving forward on the NASDAQ. On the Dow Jones, S&P, we have not done that yet, so that's quite extraordinary. But the thing is, the thing I want to show you here is this. If I just squeeze this chart a bit more, so I can get a good look at it, and I'm just going to draw a trend line from the bottom here to the top point there, okay, like so, and I'm going to just make sure that it's all connected properly, like that. I'm going to create another parallel trend line. I'm going to just extend that out through there, okay, and there we have it. Okay, so now what do we see here on the NASDAQ as well? Is the NASDAQ is actually running up really strong, and it looks like it's heading towards this top channel here. Okay, now if we do create another parallel channel, like a pitchfork so to speak, well, what we can see is we can actually see that the mid channel is actually, there's a mid channel there as well. Let me show you what I mean here. We can see that it got to here and had a bit of havoc. Support, okay, had a bit of support through there. Once it broke through, we had resistance through there, came back up, we had resistance, bit of resistance, pop back down, pop back up, and now we have support. Okay, so we have support down here, resistance here, resistance here on the weekly NASDAQ chart. We have the starter point there and resistance point over here. Okay, so working our way up, you can see that this channel here is really evident. Okay, evident meaning it's strong, and you can tell that these, and you can use these lines here as guidelines of where good support, good resistance points are. Okay, you can see the market's come down, bounce off this level here, and now continue its way up. Now it looks like it might be, it's on its way now to 2,400 on the NASDAQ 100 index. So now we see that. Let's move over to the daily chart here for a minute, because I want to show you something on the daily chart. Again, so that's the weekly chart here, okay, all weekly charts, and this weekly chart, and you can see it's really simple. When you start to identify these levels here, you can start to see, oh, there's major support, there's major resistance, and so on and so forth. So let's go over to the daily chart here. Moving over to the daily chart here, and what I want to show you is, I want to show you this other other channel here. So let me show you here. We have nice support down here. Okay, so I'm just going to draw from there to there. I'm just going to connect up all the troughs, and what I'm doing is, once again, I'm just connecting this trough here, starting this trough here, and zooming in from this trough here and this trough here. Okay, that's all I'm doing. Now what I want to do is, once again, I want to create another parallel trend line, and I'm going to bring up the exact same trend line, okay, and I'm going to now just extend that out through there. And as we can see, by doing this trend line here, we have a couple of things going on. Let's squeeze this up a bit so we can get a good view of it. Okay, there we go. Squeeze it up a bit more, and beautiful, there we go. And so as we can see here, by looking at this chart, we can see that this point here was a support here, resistance here, resistance there, and also there as well. Okay, bottom we have the support all through here. Okay, a good support, and we can see we've just been bouncing off this level through there. Let me zoom it in so we can see it properly. You can see we've been bouncing, and this continued bouncing, and now trying to head back higher. Okay, so this does actually look pretty strong, and in the overall big picture here, if I just squeeze it out a bit more, this actually does look like it wants to continue higher, and it does look like it wants to actually show some strength and possibly even hit this top channel here. Okay, so NASDAQ is actually looking really strong here, and yeah, so overall, the picture that I see, at least for the short term, is that the NASDAQ looks like it wants to keep pushing higher. So there we have it, guys. NASDAQ is actually pretty strong here. Let's go back to the weekly chart here for a minute. And there we have it. We can see the NASDAQ here on a much bigger scale here. Overall, we can see what's happening, and it does look like it's at the bottom of this channel now, and it's just bouncing off this channel here. this is the top channel here, and we have the big weekly channel here. So it does look like overall that this here does look like it wants to start screaming higher and actually hitting the top channel point through there. Okay, so there we go, guys. That's the overall. That's the overview of what's happening here in the market and also on the Nasdaq 100 index. I'll speak to you next time.